I'm going with the Chargers, believe it or not, in this particular game because of a bevy of reasons. Number one, I don't trust the New England Patriots in what I'm seeing. They're a top 5 offense. I think they're ranked 4th in points, and they're top 7 defense overall, but they bend a lot. They're 21 in yards allowed. They're 22 against the pass. And the health of Gronkowski, he says he's ready. I'm not so sure. Edelman clearly doesn't look the same. He's been on a roller coaster ride since the 4-game suspension at the beginning of the season. He doesn't appear to be the same, and they've lost Josh Gordon for obvious reasons that I don't feel like getting into. We know what happened with Josh Gordon there. So they just don't seem to be the same offensively. Defensively, you get the impression they know what they're doing. They know how to bend without breaking, but so much. But this is a Chargers team that's 9-1 straight up on the road, 8-2 against the spread. You look at Phillip Rivers, Anthony Lynn's doing a great job. I know it's back-to-back cross-country trips. I'm paying attention to all of that, but I still believe that this is a different makeup with the Chargers. I don't trust this New England Patriots team. Had everybody been healthy, I would have picked the Patriots because they were in Foxborough. Yep. I was saying that all year. But when you look at them and the injuries that they're suffering, they just don't appear to be the same.
Breaks this guy and that guy from everyone else. The fuel from all the doubters,
with the 4th pick,
the high expectations,
this is not another story.
Or is it simply a matter of taking advantage of an opportunity?
Drew Bledsoe taken out.
Brady in charge.
And never giving it back.
Rivers about to see some action, it appears.
All these years later,
They show some toughness, all right?
they're still here, turning good into great and great into unbelievable, over and over again. Rivers and Brady, 2 pretty good ball players, with a spot in the AFC Championship on the line.
Here's Brady, rifles it, touchdown, New England.
Rivers fires a strike. Touchdown, Chargers.
What a play! Come on now, we ain't done.
Rivers delivers.
Incredible! Now you want to get excited?
Test his nerves right now. Something as small as that.
They're looking for touchbacks. This was all about trying to keep away from Cordero Patterson, and that comes off the hands of Devlin and goes out of bounds. So it wasn't a long kick by any means, but it was effective.
Gun here on 1st down, and he's able to get the ball to White again.
And he's into the secondary to the 35-yard line of the Chargers. David Andrews, one of those who helped free him for 17. That was a pass play.
Hold on, it's like a DB can't even do anything but try and get up into it.
1st and goal, and the Patriots drive it the distance for the touchdown.
Defensive back deep.
Again, Rivers pass caught this time, and they do convert on 3rd and 15.
New England can do on 3rd down.
Play action. Rivers steps up. Heaves it downfield, wide open. That's a touchdown. Keenan Allen got behind everybody. And Rivers finds him from 43 yards out. Brady takes the handoff, goes to Edelman. Slips out of it and picks up the 1st. It would have been a 3rd and 4. And instead, Edelman has the 1st down. He got away from Casey Hayward.
Here it comes.
1st down at the 14. Running it, Michelle. Untouched so far. Dives for the pylon. Touchdown, New England. Here's a 2nd and 10. It's Dorsett this time. And that little wiggle picks up another 1st. Here we go. Brady going to the end zone. Open is Dorsett for the touchdown. Third and 7. Pulled down for the 1st down near the 50. Great catch that time by Williams. Quibbling with that was right or wrong. It was obvious. Now this one. And now Michelle into the secondary and galloping. Inside the 20. And finally Derwin James rides him down.
It's ahead of the chains. You're going to have to change. It's time to play man-to-man and put pressure on Brady. You can't sit back anymore and let him pick you apart.
Burkhead slices through for another touchdown. Super Bowl 52, so it's been, 6 quarters in the postseason since he got called on balls on the field, on the ground, and I'm sure the Patriots got the full control of it before it went out of bounds.
Well, we know how important this call is. The Chargers. Ooh, here we go.
The New England player recovered the ball while it was in bounds. It's New England's ball.
for virtually all of them.
It's just a shock right now to the Chargers system.
Fake to White. Brady down the middle. Caught at the 16. So close in that game a year ago.
Well,
we were talking about it with us last night quite a bit.
Well, they got pressure on Brady in that game and slowed the run down a little. And
Michelle driving. Give him touchdown number 3. Brady to try to get him a little closer. Look to the sidelines. And Dorsett has the catch. Rivers says that had to be in bounds, and he got right in front of the official.
Can't clock it, Tom. It's 4th down. It's over. That's the half. That's a rarity.
And Tom is appealing, saying, wait a minute, he was out of bounds, but Philip Rivers helping with a little officiating right in front of him on the sideline.
The end of the first half.
Gronkowski out wide to the left. There he is. Drop. Here it is. And they got it with Michelle. Gostkowski comes out for the short one, 28 yards. And the kick is good. Out at the 43. Tough pass. Boy, did he thread that one. Had to leave the ground game early. Another catch for Williams, and he does a good job of getting yardage. Ball came out at the end. They rule him down on the field. Recovery part of that.
After reviewing the play, the ball was fumbled by the Chargers receiver. However, there is not evidence of a clear recovery by New England. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands as called.
Gordon again, and he's able to get in for their second touchdown of the day. And Gostkowski's kick is good from 30. Start 3rd and 4. Still flinging it down the field. Completes it and throws a touchdown when he could barely stand up, and it's incomplete.
The Los Angeles receiver established control of the ball, took 3 steps, then got a knee and an elbow down with the ball in his control just short of the goal line. It'll be Los Angeles' ball, 1st and goal.
Right on this side and following them.
I would think that's it. Up going up top to Ingram. I'm sorry, to the tight end Virgil Green, and a field goal to tie this game.
That's pretty good.
How about that? Here's part 1. They got it.
Or tried to, at least.
3rd and 10.
Yes,
Pass lofted, and Gilmore has it with the interception.
Thanks a lot. Congratulations, Tom. 5 total touchdowns, 3 of those by Sony Michel. And this run game was just so unstoppable. What made it so successful today?
It was good. I thought, all the way around, the line played great. And I think we just did a good job keeping them off balance. So it was a good win. 41-28, so glad to win.
You kept them off balance, and that opened up your passing game, and your trusty guy, Julian Edelman, just kind of lit it up out there. And what is it about that consistency that you can rely on game in and game out?
Yeah, Julian had a great game, and we need it. So it's that time of year. You got to play your best. We're 1 of 4 after tonight, and just got to get back to work tomorrow and try to go, win a big game next week.
Well, you mentioned it, your 8th straight AFC Championship game, and it's a rematch against Kansas City. This time, though, in Arrowhead. What can we expect from that one?
It'll be a good game. They're a good team, and we played them earlier this year. I know, everyone thinks we suck and, can't win any games, so we'll see. It'll be fun.
I was waiting for you to mention that. Thanks a lot.
41-28 was the final score on Sunday in Foxborough, and the game was not nearly that close. Garbage time galore points for the L.A. Chargers. They were down 35-7 at the end of the first half. The Patriots taking full advantage of the bye week, full advantage of playoff experience. Chris, I've been saying this for weeks. When you come into the preparation for the game, when you have guys in the locker room who have been there, but Brady, 38 postseason games.
It's insane.
Bill Belichick, 40 as a head coach. You make it so much easier for your players to understand what to expect. They have faith in the process,
right?
And they know if they listen to what they're being told both by Belichick and by Brady, it's all going to work out because they've been there time and time and time again.
You're right. The Patriots players can look at two of their leaders and go, okay, they've been here, they've done that. They're very calm. Their fact that they're calm and, attention to detail, it rubs off on the rest of the football team. When the offensive line and the rest of the offensive group sees the quarterback that's unflappable and calm in a big week and every moment, they start to go, okay, things are good. Our quarterback feels good. It rubs off on the rest of the football team. So you're exactly right. That experience comes back to help them so much. And, to the game yesterday, their experience against that defensive scheme is what killed the Los Angeles Chargers. Having them play that Seattle scheme, which Gus Bradley came from Seattle and really was the architect of that great Seattle's Pete Carroll defense that was in 2 Super Bowls. Gus Bradley is really the guy who kind of tinkered with that and invented it. Well, New England's got a great experience of that because they got 2 weeks to prepare for that in Super Bowl 59 and 2 weeks again to prepare for it in Super Bowl 51 against the Atlanta Falcons. And I think between that, their preparation for that, and then the Chargers' lack of size on the defensive line, we saw the Patriots run the ball. And then they're not afraid to get in third and short. And, stats goes, where's Bosa? Where's Ingram? Well, when you're running the ball and then it's 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4 and Brady doesn't have to sit there and wait for people to get down the field because it's 3rd and long, he can get the ball out of his hands and they can design a quick little throw to get the 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 to get the first down. Bosa and Ingram become, they don't become a part of the football game. And I think that's what we saw yesterday.
Time around, the Pats got the best of the Chiefs, but that, of course, was in Foxborough. Teddy, how do you see this game playing out this time around with KC on their home turf? From what I understand, Arrowhead, a very hostile environment to play in.
Well, I guess from the Patriots' perspective, I guess the word you need to consider is control. And I think on both sides of the ball, that's what they'll be wanting to do, and control the time of possession, control the line of scrimmage. This is a team in a time where offenses want to be innovative and advance. They've gone old school, gone back to the way it was, and they use the fullback. They use James Devlin. They want to control the line of scrimmage, just like they did against the Los Angeles Chargers, just like they did in the first matchup. I think it was week 6 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling how many possessions Patrick Mahomes has. Bill Belichick knows that Pat Mahomes is a special player. He's a great quarterback in the making, and he wants to limit the amount of times he has it on the ball, has his hands on the ball, so they'll control that offensively. On the defensive side of the ball for the New England Patriots, you got to try to control this explosive offense for the Kansas City Chiefs. Tyreek Hill's a special player. Travis Kelce's a special player. What they live off of is the explosive play a lot of times. It gets that crowd going, a 30, 40, 50-yard pass. So sometimes you just got to tackle. Sometimes you just got to take the right angles on the cheetah because you've learned how fast he is from that stop-to-start play you just saw. So I think control is a big word for the New England Patriots. And for the Chiefs, it's almost like captivate. That offense is so captivating to watch and see Patrick Mahomes get out of the pocket. That's what they want to do. They want to, sort of play fast break football. We'll see if they can do it on an outdoor game in Kansas City when it's about 20, 25 degrees.
Teddy, I'm interested in the Chiefs' defense here. I think that's where the game is going to be won and lost for them. Bad against the run all year. Really impressive last week. But the Patriots, when they use 2 backs against them, and I expect to see a lot of White and Michelle on the field at the same time, were having their way with Kansas City earlier in the season. If you are Andy Reid, because the matchups, the coaching matchup's going to come down to you, favor Belichick there, obviously, are you therefore preparing for that look, for the 2 backs on the field at the same time look? Or are you thinking, well, Belichick is playing 4-dimensional chess here. He's going to have me preparing for that, and I'm going to see a wrinkle.
I think defensively for the Kansas City Chiefs, Max, I'd have to focus on, what they want to do. And they want to play efficient football. They want to play high-percentage football. I think the flat area is big for the passing game. They'll try to clear that out and get James White or even Cordero Patterson at times in the flat against a defender. They'll even run someone through the flat and then bring somebody else, so it's a clear area where they can get 5, 6, 7 yards a pop, sometimes 10. That's an extension of the run game for them over the middle of the field. That type of efficient football is their championship formula, especially when it comes to January football and having to play outdoors where the weather is unpredictable. Will they have a game plan shot down the field? Sure. They'll actually do that, maybe off of play action or something like that. But you got to defend high-efficiency football if you're the Kansas City Chief defense.
Can they do it, do you think? Because a team, they couldn't do it all year, and then all of a sudden, of all the shocks of last week, the biggest one to me is, oh, my God, the Kansas City Chiefs are playing defense against the run and stuff. Do you think they can do that against the Patriots?
It depends. Chris Jones is going to be big. That defensive tackle of theirs is, he had his hands full with Trent Brown in the last matchup I rewatched this week. The Patriots were able to control the line of scrimmage. I think it's a different challenge. I think the Patriots are more committed to the running game than the Indianapolis Colts was last week. I think you'll get a steady dose of Devlin and fullbacks and extra offensive linemen and things like that. Chris Jones is going to have to be a huge factor for them to stop the run.
Thing we love to do.
So right now, I'd like you to meet Tiger Woods.
We wonder what it would feel like if we were one of them, blessed by the sports gods, won some kind of lottery, and got to do all those cool things.
You're going to be a football player when you grow up?
Mm-hmm. That only they get to experience.
15-year-old Lou Alcindor.
But here's the thing. It's not that easy. And you don't always just know. Like this guy.
I've always told myself, if you ever get this opportunity, you better be ready to take advantage.
Had to fight for a starting job in college. Passed up by every team in the league. And now, he's the one they're calling the GOAT.
Mom, are you proud of me?
A gift? Don't even try to make sense of it. But for this kid, it's a little easier to explain. His father was a pro, so the genetics, the expectations, they were all kind of there from the start.
Kansas City Chiefs select Patrick Mahomes.
Even if no one could have predicted all this.
5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns.
This fast.
Only the second player in the National Football League to do so.
Well, now, here they are. 41 years old and just 23.
Take advantage of the day. He throws it for 6 with his left hand.
A legacy cemented.
Tom Brady. It never gets old.
A superstar just starting out.
Oh, my gosh.
Leading 2 great teams, 2 franchises, and millions of people. Inspired by all they're capable of.
And with us today, we have Tommy Brady.
But going back to the beginning, remember, they started out just like the rest of us. Their stories limited by just the imagination, surrounded by the hope that they would be one of the chosen ones, whose talent could take them to a game like this. Brady and the Patriots, Mahomes and the Chiefs. Tonight in Kansas City, where their gift has taken them, one game away from Super Bowl 53.
Well, easy for us to say it. The earlier forecasts were worse than this, but feeling like 5 to Mahomes, Tom Brady, Andy Reid, they won the top, but we're going to give it to the Patriots. And a theme all game, 3rd down, 3rd and 4, James White, 1st down. Brady, Julian Edelman on 3rd and 7, 1st down, New England. Midway through the first quarter, and there's a touchdown. Sony Trinitron Michel, it's a touchdown. Gronk helping the block.
Yeah, and Gronk may have slowed down a little bit, but he is one of the better blockers at the tight end position that this league has seen.
And now 3rd and goal, Patriot Tom going to... Oh! It's picked off by Reggie Ragland looking for Gronk. And so it was going to be an early 14-0 lead. And
not too many times you see Tom Brady get fooled right there, but the linebacker didn't suck in. He stayed home, got the interception.
So even though it's been all New England, then Patrick Mahomes, they can do this. He's the road runner. It's Tyreek Hill, 42 yards. You know, those receivers are so young, they don't know what the road runner is when I tell them it. Meanwhile, Mahomes, Trey Flowers comes up big. Once again, he's had a big postseason. Loss of 14 yards out of field goal range. It's a punt. Michelle, couple of yards. Andy Reid calls a timeout. And what happened was they thought if they could stop him on 3rd down, they'd have a chance for Mahomes, but they don't stop him. And so it turned out to be huge because it is 7-0 gain. It's White, 30 yards down to the 38-yard line. Now 33 seconds to go in the half. And now why don't you air it out, Tom Brady?
You know, that's a perfect throw. Great catch by Dorsett, the receiver. He knew exactly where Tom Brady wanted to throw it. Nelson didn't get his eyes or his head around fast enough. Therefore, it's a touchdown for Big Tommy and the New England Patriots.
And so it's at a 7-0, even though New England, Kansas City might have been now down 14-0. Philip Dorsett, but the Chiefs get the ball to start the third quarter. Now, 3rd and 2, home 34 Mahomes. Time. Rolling. And single coverage, and behind it is Sammy Watkins. And Watkins goes 54 yards deep.
Part of the magic of Patrick Mahomes, his ability to throw on the run and be accurate, it is a gift.
It's hard to take everybody away all the time, especially when you're the best in the league. Travis Kelce, who along with Gronk, a mutual admiration society. That's Mahomes to Kelce, 12-yard touchdown.
Nice high throw on a skinny post to a big tight end. He gets his body in between the man and the football, comes down with 6.
So it's 14-7. Now Gostowski's had a field goal at 17-7. Last minute and a half of the third quarter, Mahomes to Watkins. It's 10 yards. How about this sidearm act?
We're actually getting used to him being able to throw the ball almost like a baseball throwing around a runner sliding into second.
It's 1st and 10 from the 47. A swing pass to Williams. And look at him go. He had a huge game. Remember, change at running back. You all know the story. And the Chiefs moving down the field. Now Mahomes, looking for Kelce, but flag on the play against some guy named Jackson.
That's what happens when you have a big body and Kelce, and he's in the way right there, but the guy knows he can't defend him, so he just throws him to the ground.
And that wasn't a diss. It's a distant cousin of Tom. It's J.C. Jackson. He's a fine young player. Mahomes, Williams, touchdown. And it's 17-14. Now Coach Belichick looking on there, 10 minutes to go. This place is alive despite the cold. And 4th and inches, Rex Burkhead, one of the few times the Chiefs stopped the run. But what a stop this was.
Yeah, they did a great job at that time of getting a little penetration across the line of scrimmage, something that didn't happen for most of the night.
Now the Chiefs go 3 and out. The Kansas City punting. Julian Edelman, this is a huge play. Julian's so good on the punt. Did it hit him? Did it not? Garrett Dieter picks up the ball. He can't advance him up, but the Chiefs have the ball. Edelman said it never touched me. They took a long time. Did it hit him? Did it hit it? Overturned it.
Boom. If he says it didn't touch him, it didn't touch him.
Yeah. It did not. They overturned. The Chiefs can't believe it. Edelman said, I told you. And the Chiefs can't. Oh, man. So, 2 plays later, Patriots, huge break. Although, it was that close. 2nd and 8 from their own 30. Now out of the hands of Edelman, Daniel Sorensen, 49, with the pick and a nice return to the Patriots' 23-yard line.
That's just not something you see with Julian Edelman dropping a football. But I think he took a little sneaky peek right there at the linebacker. It got away from him, Sorensen with the interception, the big hit on Edelman, and now the Chiefs are off and rolling.
Under 8 minutes to go, 2nd and 10. Mahomes, the throw back the other way to Williams. This is such a good play. They've been such a good screen team. And Coach Belichick said, we didn't cover that one. Travis Kelce said touchdown, and the Chiefs midway through the fourth, 21-17.
Yeah, and most of the day they were so disciplined on the misdirection. That was the one time that they won.
So their first lead here. Now, 6:25 to go. Hogan! And it's a tough catch. Boy, he made tough one. 3rd and 8.
He got that hand right underneath that ball. We wasn't for sure watching on the replay, but they gave it to him anyway.
4th and inches. They were stopped once. Michelle will not get stopped even by the goal line. Touchdown. Patriots, 24-21. So 3:07 to go. Will the legend of the kid be authored? Mahomes. Incomplete, 2 flags, though. Roughing the passer and defensive pass interference. Quarterback hobbling, stays in. Van Noy with the hit.
Yeah, you see Van Noy come down low on the quarterback. Actually, the Brady rule is in place. That's, I believe, why they made the call. Mahomes lines up again for the next play.
2nd and 10 from the 40. Throwing on the move, and it's Sammy Watkins. The juke inside the 5. 38-yard completion. 1st and goal. And for the 3rd time in the afternoon, Williams into the end zone. Touchdown. The Chiefs have grab the 27-24 lead just before the 2-minute warning. That tablet is gone. Now, after the 2-minute warning, first play, Brady, Edelman, 20 yards. This is what we'll talk about it afterwards. Let's let it unfurl. Next play, minute and a half to go. Brady, again. I know something. It's 11 yards. First down. Buck one to go, 3rd and 10. Brady, out of the hands of Gronk. My goodness, the Chiefs are going to win. Charvarius Ward has it, but flag. What about this call, D. Ford?
Well, he probably was in the neutral zone. I thought it was a good call by the referee, but boy, you hate to make that call and partly decide a game.
Because you know what's going to happen. Brady to Gronk, gain of 25 yards, 32 seconds to go.
Let it just run right up the gut.
Right up the gut. And it's a touchdown for the Patriots. And with just 29 seconds to go, there's no way Mahomes can do this, right? Well, maybe wrong. Hit Spencer Ware, 21 yards. Next play, 23 seconds to go. Pats it, jump offside. It's a free play to DeMarcus Cuckoo, Mr. Robinson. 27 yards, penalty, stops clock. Incomplete pass, 11 seconds. Harrison Butker nails it. 31-0, we're going to overtime. Toss. Matthew Slater calls heads. It's heads. It's New England's ball. And guess what? Tom Brady has the ball. 3rd and 10. Edelman over the middle for 20 yards. First down. Later, 3rd and 10. Brady. Edelman. Over the middle. First down. 15 yards. 3rd and 10. It's a broken record. This is overtime. Can the Chiefs get a stop? No, it's Gronk. First down. Now, Burkhead into the end zone. Reckless Rex and the Patriots get the toss. They get the touchdown. The Chiefs never have a chance for their magic. And New England is only the 3rd team to go to 3 or more straight Super Bowls, joining Buffalo of the early 90s, Miami.
The big thing about the Pats winning to me is this was, Tom talked about them sucking and us not thinking they had a chance to win. The reason was because if you looked on paper and looked at these depth charts, the Kansas City Chiefs were more talented. They had more talent on the outside. They had more talented people that could make plays. This was about Bill Belichick taking away what you do great and Tom Brady finding ways to pick apart a defense that he knows exactly where you're lining up and what you're going to do. They threw no wrinkles at Tom Brady. They didn't do anything to confuse him. They also didn't move him off his spot. And when you're playing against a guy who's been in this game so many times and been in all of these big moments, you have to do something different. You have to reach into your bag and say, we're not going to just rely on talent to beat this team that we know has so much more intestinal fortitude, experience in these type of positions. And so now you find yourself on the outside looking in.
Let me ask you this, because you were harping on this a moment, and then Ryan just said the same thing. If Tom Brady's looking up there, if you guys can tell it here what the Chiefs are running, then clearly Tom Brady can. Sure. So is it just a lack in scheme or the personnel they have over there, they don't feel as if they can make those type of wrinkles and adjustment and be effective? Because if it's that elementary to you guys, clearly it's a Tom Brady.
I think it's two things. One, they know that they're deficient in the secondary in particular in Kansas City. So they know they have some work to do. So if you're deficient, do you let your guys just go one-on-one against their 2 horses in crunch time? There is no reason in the NFL that you should allow a quarterback to go 13 of 19 on 3rd down. 13 of 19 and 4 for 5 in the red area as a football team without making it tougher than what they made it. They didn't give them any resistance in those critical. Bill prides himself on 2 things in particular as far as winning football games. One, play great situational football, right? We wear that phrase out. Yes. Situational is 3rd down and red area. They crushed Kansas City in that area. And what else does he count on? He counts on this. He used to always say he wants people who are mentally tough and who are smart, who will stick to it over 3.5, 4 hours. And eventually the other team will do something dumb. They just will. And he hates that. He will take a lesser player for a guy who will stick to it. Now, what happened at the end of this game? The game should have been over for the Chiefs. D Ford lines up offside. Bill will cut people who do that. You do that, you won't play for him, and you may be a guy who runs a 5.5 40 instead of a 4.5 like D Ford does. Yes. But if you commit those kinds of mistakes, that's what keeps you out of Super Bowls. That's what right now is going to send the Chiefs in their locker room going, we had the game. Because they did. Yeah. Michael, it's over right there.
Ball game.
It's over simply because a guy had his head 6 inches too far over the ball, and now it's totally different. And that's how Bill wins.
And it's such an easy call.
Exactly.
First off, it's an easy fix. Right, that's the first thing you do when you ever go. If you ever go to a football practice, NFL football practice, when it goes to individuals, the D lineman will do get-offs, and in get-offs they make sure they're lined up behind the ball. They'll have a coach snapping the ball. He'll give them some type of dummy count, and then he'll move the ball. It's the first thing they do. It's the first part of understanding how to play the position, and you can't have that mistake happen. And time after time after time, we've seen other teams do it, and not the New England Patriots. And that's exactly what we saw tonight.
Now, we're simplifying it down to one play.
Yes.
And, of course, you can't do that, just like you can't do it in the Saints-Rams games. But it still matters. It matters when you beat yourself mentally like that. You cannot in the NFL, and he won't put up with it in New England. And I'm not saying Andy puts up with it. I'm just saying that is a gutting, this soul-destroying loss right there when you think about it.
You know, there's an old saying in NASCAR: if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Right. Trying to get as close to the edge as possible without going over. And it seems as if D was trying to get as close to the line to try to get a jump to get pressure on.
But what do they tell you? They tell you, look down the line at the ball, put your hand down, look at the ball, and put your head behind your hand. That way you're not also your hand. Let that be your guide.
Yeah. Plus, the officials right there, too. Like, you can check to see if you're offside.
And you're watching this game, and when the game starts, you're seeing the New England Patriots really invert the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. They were more physical than the Kansas City Chiefs were. And, you know, throughout the season, we've said different things about the Patriots because they've made mistakes. We've seen Tom Brady do uncharacteristic things in the red zone. And so you start to think, okay, there's some cracks in what they're doing. But as the season got on, you saw the last week of the season against the AFC East teams kind of shore some things up. And then you get an opportunity to come into the playoffs. You have a home game which you dominate, and then you go on the road and beat. I mean, listen, we talked about Patrick Mahomes earlier. I don't think we give him enough credit. We see some of the things he's done, and we start to get kind of numb to it, right? We start to think it's simple for Patrick Mahomes to do it. He made some throws today that kept this team in the game when they should have been blown out.
Yep.
And so the Patriots were just that darn good last week and this week to go on the road in what I thought, I'll be honest, was Kansas City and Andy Reid's year.
You know what's funny about Tom is, like, you compare Tom to Patrick, and all year long people were saying, well, Tom can't throw the deep ball anymore. He's, second bottom level quarterback, mid-tier quarterback. You know, Tom, I'm sitting here trying to think of an analogy. Tom's like Neo in The Matrix, where everyone else is moving real fast, and Tom's just like, block and stuff. Because that's how he operates now. He doesn't need to operate with pure, just raw power. To him, which, as you saw right there in those drives, you just kind of knew, like, he's about to do that Tom Brady stuff again.
Right. That was the feeling everybody had.
It's just like this. It's like cut. I got you. Cut. And especially if you give him the answers, as Ryan is talking about, give him the answers to the test, and he just has to fill it in.
Yes, it's over.
It's
death by paper.
I mean, good for them, though, because you know what? Bill has feasted off of other people's mistakes for years. That's why he's gone to 15,000 Super Bowls and has won 1 million championships. Right. And he just sits over there with that look on his face like, I got you right where I want you because I know you're going to do something that I'm going to capitalize on, and they do it every time.
You know Bill well. You said you know him going back to the 90s. If you were to stack up all of their Super Bowl appearances, considering what happened this year, 11-5, 5 load losses, blown out by the Jaguars, the Lions, the Titans.
The Miami Miracle.
The Miami Miracle, which cost them home field in this particular game. Great call. Where does this one stack up with all the adversity and Tom essentially telling the world that I know nobody thinks we can win? Where does this one stack up?
I think it's probably one of his best coaching jobs because of going all the way back to the offseason. Tom's not there. It's a little bit different, atmosphere around there. He shows up at training camp. People are going, oh, Bill and Tom are feuding. Tom, the owner has Tom's back, and Bill's kind of like maybe on his way out. Then they have some difficulties. Then they can't win on the road. Then they win on a fluke play they lose on a fluke play in Miami. People are saying Tom's a bottom-level quarterback or mid-tier quarterback. He can't throw the football far. They don't have any speed on the outside. Josh Gordon, gets in trouble. And it's all that's it because they can't throw. They can't run down the field. And you know what? They get in there, and what happens is, and you know what? You have to give Josh McDaniels some credit too, because I'll tell you this. That guy is a play caller. You can talk about Sean McVay. He's great. Matt Nagy's great. Andy Reid is great. Josh McDaniels knows how to kill you with death by 1,000 cuts better than anybody. And he showed it. Right. Rex Burkhead, James White, Sony Michel. They just and there's people going, I don't want Rex Burkhead. James White's nice, but he's not really that good. Okay. They take those guys, Deion Lewis before that, and they just cut
I think
you apart.
it shows again, though, even, he's speaking about Josh McDaniels, but just in the New England Patriots as a whole, they just do what it takes to win. Whether it's the pretty thing, whether it's the thing we like to see.
Why can't everybody do it?
Because everybody doesn't have the patience.
You know what? That is the key. It's the wherewithal to stick with it and stick with. Because you know what happens? I think it was Matt Hasselbeck was saying this earlier today. Somebody said this. Why, when something is working, won't coaches keep calling the same thing? Because they go, well, I called it once, I can't call it again. Because I have this whole nice little play sheet, and I got to hit them all.
I did this all week.
I got to show everybody.
I'm gonna
get my money's worth. That's right. I'm gonna get my money's worth out of this play sheet.
Boy say, yes, sir.
You got 15 cars in the garage. You
Yes.
trying to drive
All of them. Instead of the one that's faster than everybody.
Yes.
And prettier than everybody's. Exactly. Great analogy.
Every game is close. But I like the Rams here, 27-24. I think your Super Bowl MVP is Ndamukong Suh. I think that Aaron Donald, a lot of resources are going to have to be, funneled towards stopping Donald. That'll free up Suh, who I expect to have a big game. Pressure Brady up the middle. He's not the same guy. Rams win a close one.
I think the Rams will try. Hold on. I think the Rams will try to pressure Brady up the middle. Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh and those boys are studs. They will get after Tom Brady. But in the end, you're going to have to show me that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are going to lose back-to-back Super Bowls. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I think Brady will get the ball late with entirely too much time on his hands. He will beat the Los Angeles Rams 31-27.
If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. LA way for the dynasty continues. If you think you lose, you lost. But out of this world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win the prize.
Who is going to hoist the trophy? Who's going to make the history?
Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man. But sooner or later, the man who wins is the one who thinks he can.
They're the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams of Sean McVay and Coach Bill Belichick and Tom Brady looking for number 6 together. First possession, Patriots. Wait a minute, they ran the ball a bunch of times and then only the third quarterback ever to get picked off on his first attempted pass. How are the others? Jaws and Jim Kelly, all my friends. How is that possible? Wade Phillips, Corey Littleton played a big game, Randy.
Yes, he did.
That was Kel Roby and Eddie Ray Coleman. Now, Todd Gurley, there was something wrong.
There's no question there's something wrong, and there's been for a few weeks. We knew it. So you get 50% of Todd Gurley.
And so the Rams, 3rd and 2. Goff in trouble. They had good pass rush. It's a covered sack, and then a Kyle Van Noy sack, 14 yards. Rams come up empty-handed. Next Rams drive. Sack this Dante Hightower. Remember, he wasn't in the playoffs last year. Hurt.
They really missed him last year, Boom, but he played big today. Shout out to that defense and defensive coordinator Brian Flores for the performance they put on tonight.
And the first 8 possessions, Rams, punts. It's still 3-0, though. Let's not now Gurley. And a 5-yard run, and Patrick Chung, who would play a big role, injured, gone. Hurt the arm.
You know, the whole game, Boom, The LA Rams tried to run the ball, but they were not able to get it outside. That play there, they were able to get it outside.
Look, they're still just down 3-0 until Goff to Robert Woods. 18-yard completion. Could they get going?
Honestly, Boomer was the first real offensive pass play that they'd run all game that was successful.
And now Goff. Brandon Cooks is wide open, but by the time the ball and the pass play goes, it's Jason McCourt at defense.
And it was the big mistake. There were two huge mistakes in this ball game, both involving Brandon Cooks. That all, you put it on Jared Goff, and then late in the game, you're going to show a drop that Brandon Cooks had. So between the two of them, they had the two biggest misses of the game, no question.
And then 3rd and 7 at the 20, there's Hightower.
There he is again.
Boy, did they bring pressure, didn't they?
Man, we seen Hightower on the sideline, boom, and then he got back in the game and made an instant impact in this game.
Greg DeLay, Zerline, 53 yards, and just like we all predicted, 3-3 at the end of 3. Now 4th quarter. C.J. Anderson. He's been a big late season performer for the Rams, but it's a fumble as he tries to stiff arm Gilmore. He rolls out of bounds before Hightower could get it.
The Rams were completely out of their personality. What is he, Deion Sanders with the high stepping? Like, just run over him for the first down. It was a huge first down. And he dropped the fumble. The Rams offensively just never were themselves.
Little injury to the throwing hand. Goff 1st and 20 under pressure. Bang! That was inbounds. It was close.
Late.
I know. No flag.
Yeah.
Late.
It was a little iffy call, boom, but this is the Super Bowl. He was in bounds a little bit. Just a little bit.
But now, you heard Coach talk about it a short while ago. All of us, who are you looking for? Edelman and Gronk. That was Gronk. That was Edelman. Julian Edelman with a huge game. 10 for 141. That was Edelman. Then Brady to Gronk down to the 2. That was the touch pass we were looking for.
That was the play. And you know what, Gronk? Think about the Kansas City game in the 4th quarter and overtime.
Yep.
Think about Gronk all season long. You say, do you believe that Gronk's going to make all the plays for this team coming down the road with Julian Edelman? And you say, well, I don't think so. He did.
And then Sony Trinitron Michel into the end zone for the only touchdown of the whole day. It's 10-3, but it's still a game. Here are the Rams from the 20. Look out. And here comes Cooks. And this, maybe they would be moving. Now a little bit of, if not frantic, a little bit of urgency. It's 10-3. 3 plays later, 5.5 to go. 3rd and 9. Goff. Josh Reynolds. He wraps up a first down.
Well, here they go, boom. I said earlier in the countdown that they're going to have to stop the Rams from running their favorite type of routes, crossing routes.
Oh, Cook, there's the play of the game for the Rams. I mean, Brandon has a chance. I mean, there's no question it's contested. There's no question it hit him in the gut, and that strong catch could have been made to tie the ball game, and that's ended up being the ball game for the Rams.
And then he looks for Cooks. It's underthrown, and Stephon Gilmore, who became this year in year 2 as a Patriot, the shutdown corner. Such a huge game on Kelsey at the AFC Championship game in the pick.
Boom, 0 for 4, throwing to Brandon Cooks, past 20 yards. Jared Goff, 0 for 4.
So the Patriots take over at the 5, and there's the Trinitron. Sony Michel, college ball, couple of hours down the road here, Georgia. How about them Dogs? Patriots killing the clock. Rex Burkhead, 26 yards. Rams, final timeout to stop it. 2:30 to go. 1st and 10. Trust me, it's 1st and 10. Like I said, it's 1st and 10.
The highlights are waiting.
Coach is going, no, Boomer, it's 1st and 10. And then a 4-yard illegal use of hands. So, all right, so that's going backwards on what was that call? Boomer, I said 1st and 10. 3rd and 1. Michelle, do they pick it up to end it? No, they don't quite.
This was a big play by the LA Rams. They needed this more than anything. That was a great play by that defense.
Here it is again. Didn't get it, so now, remember, Gostowski missed the kick earlier in the game. They're short. Can he kick a 41-yarder to essentially end it with a $1:47 to go? Okay, we're going to run clock down. Do it down to 1 second. Call a timeout. And then Stephen Gostowski. Good. squeezed it in, but it's a 41-yarder and it's 13-3, and everybody knew it's going to be the Patriots again. Now the Rams, could they come up with something in the last buck 12? Now this is Cooks.
I felt like the Rams should have a lot earlier gone to a no huddle to get something moving with them. I think
well, insult to injury, although in the end,
the desperation was good for them, but obviously they couldn't even kick the field goal. But the desperation they needed to feel much earlier, because I think that got them. Look, they were way out of sorts the whole game, and they needed to get something to get off the schneid.
Well, the Patriots didn't exactly roll it up either, but in the end, it doesn't matter how you did it. The lowest, once upon a time, Pittsburgh led Minnesota 2-0 at the half in his Super Bowl. This was 3-0, but guess what? When it was over, this game was lower scoring than that Super Bowl. The lowest scoring Super Bowl in 53 years of it. Wow. Old-time football. The Patriots can win it any different way. That's part of their legacy, is any way you want to play it, they can win it. Right? Randy, I mean,
well, it's situational football, Boom. Everybody talked about, well, we're going to see Rob Gronkowski today. Rob Gronkowski came out with a sense of urgency, and you can tell in the first half he had some yak yards after the catch. So situational football, they made some great plays in the second half. They needed that.
With a nod to some other kind of tough sports, this is the most physical team sport in the world. And you think about it, when it's physical, it's all about strength, it's about athleticism. Coach Belichick has figured out to make it an intellectual, academic challenge. And he's got 50 guys that are completely bought in. And so in that way, he's completely malleable. He can come up with whatever plan is necessary because they're all unified in this intellectual enterprise. And we've watched it for 20 years, and people cannot catch him. They can't catch up. Of all the innovations that the game has brought forward, this is the one that seems to be the hardest for anyone to create this repertoire, this repository of intellectual, academic kind of. Look, when the Patriots are getting ready for a football game, there's other team is memorizing 10 new things. The Patriots or memorize 50 new things, and they've done it for 20 years. And so I think to me, that's the biggest difference.
And you know, it's not a headliner, and we're going to hear some sound, and we're going to visit with some more. And we told you Julian Edelman, while Coach was up here, only Jerry Rice and Lynn Swann have more yards receiving in Super Bowl history. So that would tell you something. Little things like Josh Allen, the punter, and Matthew Slater down the ball at the 5 about 1 million times, right? The combination, little things like that they didn't have to memorize, that they already knew. By the way, Tom Brady wins again. Of course, Sal Paolantonio, our intrepid, caught up with it.
First of all, congratulations on a well-fought game. The Rams obviously were tough on defense. How did you guys pull through?
They had a great plan, man. They played really well. We just struggling. We got out of sequence too often, and they kept us out of rhythm. And we moved the ball. We just couldn't get as many points on the board, but fortunately our D played their tails off. That was the best game they played all year, and it was unbelievable. And just proud of the way that we pulled it out.
When Bill Belichick got the trophy, he said this one was really sweet because a lot of people felt that you were out of it all season long, and you came through again.
We played our best when it mattered the most. We played our 2 last regular season games. We played our best. I don't count the Miami game as a loss. So really, we had 1 loss since the bye. We kind of had a win, but just in the loss columns. We played our best football then. That's what the best teams do.
Julian Edelman had such a game, MVP. Congratulations to him, right?
Yeah, unbelievable. So proud of him. What a game. What a season. So tough, and just the best teammate, and I couldn't be happier for him.
And for you personally, how does this feel for you and your family, your whole family?
I got everyone here, so everyone's enjoying it, and it's just great to be with everyone.
Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. I'm good.
It was not, this time Tom was not the MVP. Once it was Deion Branch, now Julian today, but the other 4 have been. So as a quarterback that was an MVP in the Super Bowl, and as someone who's been in the huddle with the greatness of Tom Brady, the grind at 41 to still do things, even when most of the game it's not working. Describe what had to happen.
Think about what happened today. Jared Goff was not present. You could see it. He got baffled, and Todd Gurley wasn't running, and he couldn't carry it. He was underthrowing. He just got behind the whole thing. You get to the line of scrimmage, you can see the data was just overwhelming. And the one thing about Tom Brady, he is always present. He's never not been. And in the biggest games, it seems like he's even more present. So no matter what happens, you knew that if they did not score some points, Tom Brady would figure it out. And he did. And that's, I mean, just everybody in the world knows that Tom Brady's going to figure that out.
You know, just sitting here listening to Tom Brady, he was talking about the day was not perfect, but the offense made the plays that they needed to make. Right here, you seen him hit Rob Gronkowski in the fourth quarter. Right here, 7 minutes to go in the fourth. Little lob pass to Rob Gronkowski. That was a big play for those guys. And like we're always used to seeing, big plays out of that offense. Like Tom said, the offense made plays when they needed to win this game.
All of a sudden, it clicks with Gronk and Edelman for one drive. In many games, it would have been too late. But I guess in this, okay, it's not like, okay, we don't need the first 3 quarters, but there's almost a clock that goes off. We're going to be quick here, but
that's why it has to be about this defense. It just has to be.
I get it.
I mean, no matter what, and I give, again, offense scored the points. Julian was awesome, but this really was. That's why I say it's coach's Sistine Chapel. I mean, it's like something we've been talking about for 35 years. I've watched Coach Belichick back to the Giants, back to the Cleveland Browns. I've had to play against them. It's brutal. I hated them. But I'm telling you, this is the ultimate moment. And you just have to step back, as we've done for Tom at times. You have to step back and just honor coaching that really influenced the very fabric of this football game.
Well, wait.
Are you going to dance? Give me something. Give me a jig.
Mr. K. What's up, Mr. K? Congratulations.
Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, number 6. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're get settled. It's a beautiful tie. It was a beautiful evening, wasn't it? Congratulations.
It was pretty cool.
We'll give you a
Mr.
seat.
Kraft, go ahead and
Hold
sit
on
right
a
here.
sec.
Go ahead and sit.
You know, we can't have you to our dinner table if we don't give you a seat, even if it's the low seat. Congratulations.
Well, it's gluten-free, I was told, because I only diet like you do.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, don't do that. That's a different program. So it's just happened. What about this team, Robert? This particular team as champs. What did kind of toward the end of the year might be in the water that many others did not?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This is a mature team, and even going through the locker room the last 2 weeks, I can get a feel normally. But, you know, we don't usually lose games in December the way we did. We lost 2 games there. You know, there's a lot of chatter, all the different noise going on that started before the season. Then we started the season, we lost, what were we, 2 and 3? But there's a certain confidence, you know, not only confidence, but camaraderie around the guys. And the two of you would understand when a team has that kind of culture and karma. And I really felt it. And the job they did, what the defense did, actually the last championship game and this game, it's not like we have loaded with all-star players or Pro Bowl players, but they play as a team, and it's really remarkable. And I pinch myself. It took us 42 years. I was a fan and then an owner for 7 years, I think, before we won our first. And so to have the privilege of being in the position we're in, and I know no one's really rooting for us, and I mean outside of our fan base, and I understand that because, you know, if I was a fan of our team, and we never had home playoff games. Our season was over in December all the time. So anyhow.
Well, go ahead, Randy.
I gave you a long answer.
No, why not? You sound like me.
Well, you know, Coach, everybody was, you know,
look at you. You're like a banker there. The 3 people. It's the same guy.
Well, Mr. Kraft, I got a question for you. You know, everybody questioned your decision when you hired Coach Belichick, and then everybody, you know, questioned the decision when they drafted Tom. 6 Super Bowl rings. Coach, Mr. Kraft, as an owner, talk about that.
Well, I remember, you know, we're fortunate in all our businesses to be private. So the key to me is getting people, I think, who are good people that I get along with and I have good simpatico with. And, you know, when I hired Bill, to be honest, a lot of people I mean, weighed in that they didn't think it was right, and then we went 5-11. But I remember him when he was with us in '96, and we went to the Super Bowl, and we really did it on our defense, and he had a big role in that. And then we developed a relationship, and I'm a little immodest to say this, but I think maybe the greatest trade ever done in the NFL
It was a hell of a trade.
giving a one-up to get him.
You know, well, Mr. Kraft, let me tell you, in a world where there's all about haters, everyone talks about haters, we have to stand back, and if we don't, we're fools to appreciate the moment you guys came out to your first Super Bowl as a team. You remember that? And change the nature of the way that the football was being thought about as a team. And here we are all those years later with 6 championships. If we don't, as a nation, stand back and appreciate excellence, then we're fools. And so all of us need to stop the madness about wanting someone else and just say, wow, we have a lot to learn from what you've done, what Bill has done, what Tom has done, a collective group of people, and I congratulate you on a epitome, the Everest for you. It's got to be.
But your message about building bridges, and we have to empathize and listen to everyone and try to take the good out of things. You know, in our situation, what Bill has done managing the salary cap era and being able to sustain success. The league is built for any team to win 1 year, because if you do well, you draft lower. If you don't do well, you draft higher. If you play poorly, your schedule is much easier. And
it's built for parity, and you guys said no.
It's built for 8 and 8. But part of that is continuity.
Well, guess what? In an age,
here's your superstar.
In an age, Robert, when a dynasty is 5 years, this is, hold on. This is 2 decades. It's amazing. Congratulations.
MVP here.
You want a beard? You're just jealous of that beard, aren't you?
I really am.
I know you are.
But we're going to get him a great deal with Gillette. He's just saying.
You think you have a connection with them?
He'll shave half of it.
Congratulations, Robert.
Appreciate
Robert,
it, Mr. Kraft. I love you, man.
Well, the winning owner, and then we have the MVP with full beard. With it, it is Julian Edelman is coming over.
He says he's loving it.
And
come on up here, man. Come on up here, young buck. Congratulations, boy. Way to ball out, MVP.
Come on in.
Get up here and sit down. Here, let me help you. Get up here and sit down.
Bro, we saw the special yesterday. The old 49ers you played as a kid.
Congratulations.
Yeah, running around the end.
Congratulations, Julian.
Loved them.
Listen,
Loved the Niners.
Does congratulations on everything, MVP, another championship. Does this cushion the blow if you get face first? That's all I want to know.
No, I don't think it does that.
I don't think so.
They hit you, you feel it, but no, it doesn't.
What is crunch time? What is it? And we've seen it in all the playoff games, Julian, especially the Chiefs game, and especially here in a 3-3. There's a conversation that goes on with the eyes, doesn't it, with Tom?
I think, well, it all starts with having great weeks of practice. I mean, as lame as that sounds, when you go into a game confident, that's the most dangerous thing. And, it starts with practice, because that's where you gain your confidence. And then just the years of playing with him, kind of knowing what he likes. He knows my body language. I know his. I mean, it goes and it helps. So, that's all I can say on that, man.
Jules, I got to take it back, man. I got to take it back, because when I say I'm proud and I'm happy for you, I really mean that sincerely. I seen when you came to the New England Patriots, talking about you were a quarterback, making the transition to the wide receiver. I know it was a hard thing to do, playing behind Wes Welker, and now you're a Super Bowl MVP. Talk about it, my man.
Yeah, I remember those days. I'll tell you one quick Randy story that he always used to tell me. He goes, Edelnut, there are about 14, 15 of you in this league. There's only one Randy Moss, 98 first round, get to know me. And so I say that to all the guys now.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I've never been an MVP, let alone a Super Bowl MVP, man. I am proud of you, bro. Way to persevere.
I appreciate that. And, I never really thought about that. You know how it is in New England. You're just so in the grind mode of you're trying to thinking about this, that, and sometimes for a long time I was just trying to make a team. Then you're trying to earn a role, and then you're trying to keep on going. And the head's been down, and you just try to work. And I got to learn from a lot of great players. I got to learn from Randy, and a lot of people say, oh, you don't have that skill or that body type. And I mean, you could just being around Randy Moss, the type of player he was, how he'd hide his hands on deep balls and late hands, and how he'd catch the ball, and his savviness for the game. I mean, you could take little things from everyone and try to implicate it to your game, and that's all I was trying to do. I mean, I had a lot of great guys around me, so if I didn't learn, I wasn't going to be there.
You've proven a lot of people wrong, man. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate
Julian,
that, Randy.
In
That means a lot.
the lowest scoring Super Bowl
of all
history,
time. You know that.
You were the one that was excellent. You were the one that stood out. You were the one that put the numbers up, and not only that, but just made the plays to make the difference. What was happening on the field that allowed you to be the one person in an explosive year, an explosive offensive, kind of era, that you were the one that made that happen tonight? What was it? Were they doing something unique defensively? What would allowed you to be the MVP tonight?
Just getting open and catching the rock.
Were they man to man? Were they?
I mean, they went to a lot of zone. I mean, a few times they were in man coverage, and we were able to take advantage of that. And then, I mean, it was you got to tip your hat to LA Rams. I mean, they played good defense. I mean, we put up 10 points. What did we put? 13 points. And it was a hard-fought battle. But you got to look at our team, and we knew it was going to be a hard-fought battle, and we knew it was going to go 60 minutes, because that's how it always goes. And we were prepared to do that, and we were able to make enough plays today to go out and win. And you got to tip your hat to our defense. I mean, they held that deep. They're the real MVP to me. I mean, they held that offense to 3 points. I mean, that's remarkable. You just got to, I mean, it's complimentary football.
You know what, Val? No one's better at it than you guys. Listen, only 7 wide receivers have won this in the 53-year history of the Super Bowl MVP.
It's pretty cool.
And the list, you may not know this one, the list of yards in Super Bowl. Wide receiver Jerry Rice, Lynn Swann, Kent State, Julian Edelman. Congratulations.
Redwood City,
Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us, my man.
Proud of you, boy.
I appreciate you, Randy.
And
can I get a follow on Instagram, bro?
Congratulations.
Out there.
And exhausted Julian Edelman. With a hockey playoff beard. Congratulations. We'll be back to Atlanta in a moment.
The highest scoring teams you face in the last 14 days. You hold them to 3 points. I just said the Mona Lisa, the Rembrandt, the Sistine Chapel. Like this has got to be, for a defensive coach, the highest moment and the highest. This has got to be the Everest. I can't think of anything else to describe it. All the odds are against it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a great performance by our football team. We did what we had to do, and we scored enough points. We played good enough defense. We controlled field position in the kicking game. Steve made a big kick. Everybody contributed. It's just one of those. We got one of these teams that they find a way to win, and they played their best in the biggest games, and they certainly did that tonight.
Yeah. Coach, the first half, the game was tight. And we knew just from history that you guys were going to go in, make some halftime adjustments. Talk to us about the halftime adjustments and how you were going to open up that running game in the second half.
Well, it was tough. I mean, certainly they played well defensively, and finally we got it going in the fourth quarter when we went to the 2 tight ends and went to empty, and we were able to get some matchups there and hit Rob down the seam, got Julian on a couple matchups against the linebackers and got the touchdown. So that was big for us. Then on the last drive, we hit a couple of those power runs, double team kick out and run up inside, and got the ball across midfield, and Steve made the kick. So it's just, I felt like we were moving the ball, but we just couldn't finish. We get a penalty or get a negative play and get a couple first downs, and then it's 2nd and 12 or 3rd and 13, and they're too good on defense to convert those.
Let's take it. So you had the ball. You got 3 points till mid-4th quarter. So what were the Rams doing that prevented the scoring? I mean, yes, you made some mistakes. What were they doing that surprised you a little bit, Coach?
Well, they basically played zone on first and second down and played man-to-man on third down. And that didn't surprise us. Again, I'd say where we had problems when we got into long yardage. Now, they made a couple stops on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 at the end of the half. They covered Rob over the middle, and then we got stopped on 4th and 1. So, but essentially that's what the game was. When we were picking up first downs, we just weren't able to string enough of them together before they could make a play or get us into a longer yardage situation.
I want to go to Patriots history, not the big picture yet, and then with these guys, but since you've started here, Troy Brown, Wes Welker, now Julian Edelman, who is now
Danny Amendola.
Third Danny Amendola. There are others in that. Look, the patterns, etc., are different from 2001 to 2007. Well, that was Randy, but you know what I'm saying. To
Every pattern's different with Randy. There's no other Randy Moss. There's Randy Moss and there's everybody else. That's right.
But
no, we've always had great slot receivers. And
what is it?
And we've always had good backs. We had, we had Kevin Falk, and then we had Vereen, and then we had James White. So we've always had good production out of our running backs, especially on third down, and our slot receivers.
But in crunch time, here was Edelman.
Yeah,
the MVP.
absolutely. Again, Julian's a tough kid that makes yards after the catch, and he's just a great competitor. And he competed hard today. In those zone coverages, he was able to find some space in there. Tom hit him, and he made a couple big third down conversions for us as well. In the end, we got the matchups on Gronkowski on the touchdown drive, which really made the difference.
Coach, we talked all week. You heard everything about Brandon Cook was in the New England Patriots camp, then he got traded to L.A. Can you talk to us about your approach to taking him out of the game? Because I think defensively, y'all had a great game plan to utilize him.
Well, we basically put Gilmore on the whole game, and it was a mix of man and zone coverage, and then we doubled Woods, and those are really the two guys that we were most concerned about. Obviously, Anderson and Gurley in the running game, and Reynolds and Everett as well in the passing game. I mean, they got too many good guys. You can't double everybody, but we've had a lot of double coverage on on Woods, and basically Gilmore on Cooks.
Coach, when you're trying to make this game plan against the Rams, the only other team that kind of did this to them were the Bears late in the season. Were they the biggest influence? Was that the film that kind of gave you some ideas, or what were the influences coming into this game that said, this is how I want to attack this football team?
Well, we just felt like we had to put something together that would neutralize the running game and their big play action passes on early downs. That's really where they've killed people all year, is the 120-some explosive plays that they've had. So we felt like if we could make them drive it, make them earn it, similar to what the Lions did to them, to make them, just run a lot of plays and get them in third down. We felt like we'd have a chance to get them off the field on third down, and ultimately we were able to do that. And really, the play of the game defensively was the blitz. When Brian Flores called the blitz, and Gilmore played the play perfectly and just went up and high pointed the ball, and that was obviously a big play for us in the game.
And Coach, Tom is 41. This is everything about today is unprecedented. That's another thing that's unprecedented, that this guy is just, he doesn't show, and there's no chinks in the armor at 4. It's not possible. Can you explain this thing that's inexplicable?
Well, nobody prepares harder than Tom. He has great anticipation and awareness, and he gets the ball quickly to the guys that have the best opportunity to make plays with it. So we know he's not going to make any yards with the ball in his hands. He's got to get it to somebody else, and he does that quickly and efficiently. So Tom's had a tremendous year, and again has played great at the biggest times. The touchdown drive at the end of this game, and the touchdown drive last week in Kansas City, and the start we had against the Chargers. So. You just can't say enough about Tom Brady. He's a great football player.
And a couple of 3rd and 1s. We were Randy and I were watching the game together. We were looking for that vaunted, now that he's a 1,000-yard back, Tom Brady 1-yard run. I mean, where was it?
Well, they kind of took that away from us. So,
and Sue and Donald might have something to do with it, right?
Yeah.
Look, Coach, you're big on, and I know part of the answer because we've visited many times. It's for the history books, etc. And I'm not asking you to put, because you're not done, as has been documented. This was your 40th playoff game together with Tom in this run. You're obviously 9th Super Bowl, 6th win. There will be more chances. You certainly are going in every season like that. It's 2 decades. It's different players except for the quarterback. What makes it different? I know you'll say it's the players. He was with you a little bit. Randy can probably answer for me. But look, this is 2 decades of this. You're a football historian.
Boomer, players win games. I'll tell you that. Players win games. You can't win games without good players. We've had a lot of great players.
But you can't win. Players can't win if they don't have good coaching.
Well, they can't overcome bad coaching. I know that.
What happened last night?
Coach Belichick pulled out a virtuoso. This was probably his greatest coaching performance. Skip, I believe this was better than the one that he pulled off in 1990 as the defensive coordinator for the Giants when they did what they did to the Buffalo Bills. They held the They held the L.A. Rams to 3 points, Skip. They averaged 33 points a game. So he held them to 30 points less than what they normally get per game. And his game plan says we're going to take our best corner, Stephon Gilmore, and we're going to assign him to Brandon Cooks. We're going to double Robert Woods. Reynolds caught a few passes. The tight ends are nothing to, Skip, you all
tight ends caught zero. Go ahead.
Yeah, you still want them. You still think they're better than Gronk?
I do. You got to throw it to them, but that's okay. No, that's a whole other story.
Skip, the game plan was outstanding. And I don't want to get, I don't want to get too far into the schematic and what they did, but if you look at what they were doing, I was watching. The Patriots played 4 down linemen, and at times they played what we would call the underfront, Skip. They would walk Dante Hightower or they would walk Van Noy, put them on the line of scrimmage. And basically they daring you to throw the football because they say you're not going to run it. We're not going to allow you, Rams, to run the football. And they could not. Because everything is really set up off of their run. When they can run the football with Todd Gurley, I still believe, and I don't care what anybody says, Skip, this was the Super Bowl. And you're playing in the Super Bowl. Todd Gurley got 10 carries. Todd Gurley's hurt. Todd Gurley spent more time on the bike than he did on the field. But we'll discuss that a little later. And everything is set up off the run game. They want to go play action and throw the ball down the field. Well, if you can't run the football, play action is null and void. Jared Goff, now it's been reported that Sean McVay, the headset cuts off at 15 seconds. He's telling Jared Goff to play, but he's also telling him where to go with the football. Skip, that's fine and good. But at some point in time, he's going to have to read defenses because he went to the line of scrimmage a lot last night, and he had already predetermined that I'm throwing the go ball, or I'm throwing this and I'm throwing that. And he didn't read the defenses because there were some openings that he could have had. But because he had already made his mind up where he wanted to go with the football, he was unable to come off that and go from 1 to 2 and sometimes maybe to 3. But give that what we saw last night was a virtuoso, Skip. The defense, and Coach Belichick, he always makes sure that he does not take the credit. He says, we have good players. And because they're not Aaron Donald, they don't have the name of an Aaron Donald, or they're not a Patrick Peterson, or the linebackers not Luke Kuechly or Bobby Wagner, sometimes they get lost up in the shuffle. But as a unit, they're where they're supposed to be. They're tremendous tacklers. When they get to a spot, the guy's going down. And they don't blow assignments. And when they do blow assignments, they work extremely hard like the Cooks play. They blew the assignment, Skip. Cooks was open from the jump. He throws his head up. Goff doesn't see him.
That was the one time they did not play man.
Right.
Stephon Gilmore did not have him in man.
No.
It was zone, and they blew the zone.
Yeah. And to let you know how late he was with the ball, Devin McCourty, Skip, is the backside corner. He came from about
Jason McCourty.
Jason McCourty.
Right.
He had him 30.
Oh, yeah. I think he had to run 18 yards.
Yes, he's the backside corner.
Right.
And he sees it. He's like, well, let me get on my high horses.
It hung up, man.
And he made an unbelievable play.
He did.
Because Brandon Cooks realized that I'm running out of real estate. I got to try to toe tap. And Jason made an unbelievable play on the ball. The offense was so predictable, Skip. Rams offense, first down. What do they do every first down, Skip? Run. Okay, so now it's 2nd and 10. Now they know you got to throw the ball. And they brought more pressure. And what we're starting to see from the Patriots is that they're starting to turn up the pressure. And Coach Belichick does not want to bring the safety out of the middle of the field. He hates it. But he says, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to roll the dice that I can take the safety out of the middle of the field, and you will not be able to read what I'm doing. And he was absolutely correct. So this was, I don't want to hear nothing today, Skip, about no Tom Brady. Tom Brady got 6 rings. But Tom Brady, they won this game in spite of Tom Brady.
Really?
Yeah.
You done?
I'm done.
So your only reference to the great Tom Brady came at the end, which was a negative reference.
Oh, you ain't seen that yet.
Here I go.
Okay.
I have tried to warn you all playoffs long. I tried to tell you again and again and again, there is one man in sports you do not bet against.
Bill Belichick.
And his name is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. I warned you 3 times, and once, twice, 3 times a patsy were you because of the ultimate Pat, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. He did it to you again. When you least expected it, when you most were ready to bet against him, he turned into Michael Jordan in sheep's clothing. He turned right into that cold-blooded assassin disguised as the corny dad who lives next door.
Wow.
Tom Brady now has 6 rings thanks to 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. That is impossibly, unbelievably, astonishingly all-time clutch. And he did it again last night up against his greatest degree of difficulty. I told you on Friday this would be his greatest challenge in a Super Bowl.
But he had his worst performance.
I think it's my turn. Wade Phillips has always had Tom Brady's number. Last we saw that in the AFC Championship game following the 2015 season in Denver, right?
Yes, correct.
Wade Phillips has had Tom Brady's number because Wade Phillips knows how to play Tom Brady, especially if he's got the firepower to play him. He has the best defensive line in football, and he has the best cornerback tandem to me in pro football between Talib and Marcus Peters. So Tom Brady was really up against it last night without a single deep threat. His deep threat from last year was a Ram last night, and you just talked about him, Brandon Cooks. His deep threat from most of the year was a kid named Josh Gordon, who's back in rehab, unfortunately for him, after 11 games as Brady's quote-unquote quasi-deep threat. Last night, Tom Brady beat the Los Angeles Rams without completing a single deep pass to his quasi-deep threats that he has. Chris Hogan caught 0 balls last night. Philip Dorsett, the one Patriot who can run a little bit, caught 0 balls on 0 targets last night. 0 targets. And what happened when you least expect it? Michael Jordan happened. All of a sudden, with the money on the table, with the stakes the highest, with the Super Bowl teetering at 3-3, with 9:43 left in the fourth quarter. 3-3. I think this is when the money's on the table. This is when it's time for somebody to take over the football game. Lightning struck in the name of Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. 4 straight plays, 4 straight completions, the first 4 plays of that 5-play drive. And let's break them down, shall we? Because the first one comes, this was the breakout one. This is the one that broke the ice. This comes straight out of the I formation with Brady under center and broken down Gronk, who still can't run a lick, looks like a Frankenstein monster, fakes like he's going to block on Ebukam, and then he just sort of leaks out around him. And Brady throws a sweet little rainbow that goes for 18 yards, and all of a sudden, breakthrough. All of a sudden, you could just feel the momentum. Then for 3 straight plays, the Patriots come out. I got to credit Josh McDaniels with this because he's calling the plays. They come out with Rex Burkhead, 3 straight times, split out receiver. Rex Burkhead? What is this about? He split out wide as receiver. They flipped the formation the second time, but 3 times he split out wide. And what happens on the first one? The middle of the field is wide open, and one more option route by Julian Edelman, and boom, over the middle goes 13 yards to Julian Edelman. Some momentum is happening. So what does Wade do? He just says, you cannot have Edelman on the second play. Again, Burkhead split out wide. Edelman in the slot, and they just mug Edelman in the slot on the second play. 2 defenders just come up and just annihilate him and knock him down at the line of scrimmage. That should have happened more, but it didn't happen more because you look at little Julian and you think, he can't really hurt us. He can't run by anybody, but he got loose for 13 more yards. So, on the previous play. So, on this play, they knock him down, and what happens? Brady sees it, bing, and he goes outside and throws a strike to Who knew? To Rex Burkhead, his backup running back, for 7 more yards. Here we come. Burkhead split out wide again, and Gronk runs straight up the seam, and he really ran into triple coverage. There were 3 Rams within striking distance of the football. John Johnson's coming over from safety. Marcus Peters is trailing, along with Littleton, who's he was all over him for much of the route. And Brady threw the strike of the game. He threw the best throw of the game for the biggest gain of the whole night. It was the longest pass play of 29 yards. It was also the longest play of the night by either team, 29 yards. Nice catch, but an all-time great throw into actually sort of triple bracket coverage to Gronkowski down to the 2-yard line, and you know the rest of the story. Sony Michel takes it home, and basically that was the football game. Boom, 10-3, and that would have stood up. Now let's get back to the defensive side. I do give Bill Belichick credit. We're going to talk about how much
but
credit
he lost his
here in
fastball,
a little
remember?
bit. He had lost his fastball. And you know what? He owed Tom Brady last night for what happened a year ago on this stage against Philadelphia. And I'm going to remind you, Nick Foles is really good. Last night should have told you just how great Nick Foles is. And I don't throw around great very often, but he is great. And your Eagles, with walk it to 'em wins, are about to have to make a big mistake. They're going to try to franchise, then trade Nick Foles and keep Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And what does it tell you that Nick Foles hung 41 points on Bill Belichick's defense? Of course, he doghoused and benched inexplicably and suspiciously Malcolm Butler last year.
But you know, Skip, they didn't get the pressure on Foles like they got on Jared Goff.
Okay.
Foles is a veteran.
Okay.
Goff is really inexperienced.
The Eagles
especially
have a really good offensive line, too, right?
Well, considering that the Rams voted the best offensive line this year in football.
So what did Bill Belichick do last night? Did he do anything shifty or sneaky or new or clever or outrageously creative? I saw nothing. I saw exactly the same defenses that I saw against the Chargers and the Chiefs. I saw mush rush. I saw 6 or 7 Patriots just sort of hang around the line of scrimmage. They did this against the Chargers.
Right.
Just hang around, and all of a sudden 3 or 4 come and 3 or 4 drop.
Right.
You're not sure which 3 or 4, and it's hard to pick up, but it wasn't like he hadn't put it on tape before. So there was no shock value to this. I've been seeing the same defense 2 straight playoff games, and somehow the Rams could not block it.